This castle here is haunted by a headless piper.
Good afternoon YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in the Galloway Hills in southwest Scotland and this is Clatteringshaws Loch here. Now I'm going to be heading from here across an old drover's road through the hills and it's called Raiders Road. It's quite a stunning route actually. I think you'll like it, so stay tuned. Just let this little car pass. People out in kayaks there. This isn't too far from where I live, it's about an hour south of where I live actually. Now this little stretch of road that we're going to cross here through the hills, an old drover's road as I say, it's only 10 miles. But if you're doing this then you need to probably factor in about an hour folks. That's because the speed limit on it, it's pretty much off-road, the speed limit on it is only 15 miles an hour. And you kind of need to stick to the speed because there's cars, there's pedestrians or hikers, people on bicycles. Well, here's a great example. We look at this, we've got, you know, get me, then you've got a couple of bicycles and a car. So we're not exactly off-road here folks, but you can see already that you probably don't want to just bring your street bike here, you know. This is one of the easier parts of the route. Some of it gets quite heavily potholed, but perfect for the Himalayan obviously. A beautiful day. It's nice to get back on the bike again. See, between sort of busted clutches and the weather, it's not been so easy recently, but perfect day for it today. Look at this road, it's absolutely amazing. Wow. So you can see that the road travels through a little glen here. This is the River Dee down here, and it essentially follows this valley all the way through here from Clatteringshaws over to Loch Ken. And when we get to Loch Ken, there's actually a little castle at the end of the loch there. We're going to go and have a look at that, talk about it. This road is only open from, I think it's April to October, and it's perfectly legal to travel on this on, you know, a motorbike, a car. I think we need to pay now to get on this. It used to be £2, now it seems to be 3. Well, what does this say? Not in use. Oh well. Never mind. Guess it's free today then. Look at this old croft here, this old cottage. What a place to live, eh? As I said before, this is a drover's road. And a drover's road would be a path or a track where clansmen would, you know, take their cattle, drive their cattle through the mountains. And this particular drover's road is called Raiders Road. I wonder where this one goes. Really cool, eh? If you want to take any of these forest tracks and stuff, you can go off the beaten track a little bit. Now, you may or may not be wondering how this particular drover's road came to be known as Raiders Road, but think in terms of cattle raiders. And it was actually a Scottish author, Samuel Crocket. He published a book, I think it was 1894. The book itself was called The Raiders. And Crocket was born just a little bit south of here. And he talked about how the clansmen, you know, the cattle raiders, would drive these stolen cattle, as it were, up this route, hide out in these hills and these mountains from the authorities and from other clans, of course. Now, as you can see by looking around, just how easy it would be if you were a local to lose yourself in these hills with somebody else's cattle, you know, their sheep and their cows. There's a little stopping point. Let's go here. What does this say? Otter pool. Alright, let's go and see the otters. Trees falling down. What does this say? Danger! Water may rise suddenly due to hydroelectric operations. Doesn't sound too good. Wow, look at this. What a place, eh? Let's park this bike. Somebody camping over there. That'd be a great place to bring the tent with the bike, folks. Look at these skaters on top of the water. Better watch out for the fish, guys. Better watch out for the fish. Getting a little bit more overcast. I think we might end up getting some rain before the hour's out, you know. The people come up here, they'll maybe do a bit of camping for a day or two, maybe just come up and have a barbecue off the back of the truck. Of course, a lot of people come up here, park up, and then they'll maybe go hiking or camping up into the wilderness, maybe go find a bothy for themselves. Now if you follow this road back, this road that I've been heading down, across the road to Clatteringshaws, then you can head all the way over to Loch Stroan, you know, Glen Trool and the White Lag in Bothy, which technically you're not supposed to drive or ride. This side's alright. It's hard to imagine all of those hundreds of years, those Scots, well, they were lowland clansmen or border reivers, you know, with their stolen English cattle. Not just from northern England, of course, they stole cattle from each other. It wouldn't be unusual for the same cow to be stolen 3 times in a year. I'll have to GoPro pick it up, but there's actually a viaduct over here. Sun's coming out. We just look here, you see the right hand side of that hill there is Clatteringshaws Loch. It's a good old, probably 6 or 7 miles now I've done coming up this track. This little loch in the middle, and then at the end of this you've got Loch Ken, which is a really long loch heading down towards Castle Douglas. It's really popular for people using it as a base for hiking. A lot of people camp there. It's a good old campsite. Or water sports. Water sports are very, very popular. See people in canoes and boats and whatnot. I wonder how old this viaduct is. I'm going to guess it's a few years. In memory of Charles Parley, a forester, 1947 to 1970. What a place, eh? Right, Zephyr, let's go. Now, believe it or not, this Galloway forest area, big chunks of it here in Scotland are well known for stargazing. Of course, it gets very dark out here. There's no sort of natural light to disturb anybody. What does this say? Secret cages, 800 metres. Ah yeah, now, those cages used to house red kestrels, which were endangered at one point in this area. So this road, this region, get in gear. This road and this region in particular is really popular with bird watchers. And you can see buzzards, and you know, if you're really lucky you might see a red kestrel or two. If that's your thing, let's pull up here for a second. So folks, we've got Loch Ken here. This is the loch I was talking about. And most people go buzzing past here down towards Castle Douglas on the opposite side of the road. It's a fantastic campsite over here. There's more than one actually. We look here, that's the sort of water sports centre. You can see the boats and the canoes and whatnot. And we're going to head to Kenmure Castle at the end of this loch here. Great place to go fishing, eh? This loch's very long and narrow. It's not huge by any means. We're not talking Loch Doon or Loch Ness here. But, oh look, somebody's been camping here. You can see how it stretches away into the distance of the little islands here. And then of course up in this direction. And the guys all fishing along the beaches here. Down here as well. Glorious. castle on a hill. Must be.
This is Kenmure Castle, folks, and as Scottish castles go, it's got quite an industrial sort of pebble dash finish, which is a little bit unusual. Of course, this would have been applied much later, before the castle fell into disrepair. And what we see here is largely 17th century. I think the hill or the mound that the castle's standing on is probably man-made, but you can see it's in a very strong defensive position, surrounded by water. Over the years, this castle's been destroyed several times, and that's why now it looks more like a stately home than it would have originally looked. Let's go down this hill a little bit. Of course, this site is much older than this 17th century manor house that we see here. In fact, it's thought that King John Balliol was born here, the puppet king, in 1249, and his defeat, if you like, at the hands of Edward the Longshanks. Balliol's defeat and humiliation gave rise to figures in Scotland such as William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. In the 1200s, the castle was largely controlled by the Douglas and the Maxwell families. In 1297, the castle was actually taken over by the Gordons of Loch Ken. Now, they have another castle about 6 miles north of here, Loch Ken Castle. Gordons were strong supporters of the Scottish crown when Mary Queen of Scots arrived here for a visit in 1563. And of course, at that time the castle would have looked very different from what we see now. But because of that visit and because of their support, the castle was destroyed by her enemies not long after the Battle of Langside in 1568. Let's sit down for a second. So, following that period, the castle was actually rebuilt because it was still in a strategic position here in the southwest of Scotland, only to have it destroyed once again by Mr. Cromwell and his forces. This place still belongs to the Gordons in 1715, when the Jacobite uprisings take place. So William Gordon, the laird of this place, he was the 6th Viscount of Kenmure. He took up with the Jacobite cause, but unfortunately for him, of course, the Jacobites lost, and he was actually beheaded in 1716 in the Tower of London. And this is where Rabbie Burns wrote the song Kenmure's Up and Away, Willie. It's quite a famous piper's ballad, and it's all about the Jacobite uprisings and the lord that left here in 1715, never to return. And whilst we're on the subject of piper ballads, apparently this castle here is haunted by a headless piper. How that works I don't know. I've never seen anybody blow a pipe without a head.
That's it for this one, guys. I really hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, maybe even hit that notification bell so you know the next time I upload a video to YouTube. If you want to watch another vlog or an install or a modification, have a look at one of these here. I'll see you in the next one.